Ladies and gentlemen, this RedGaming.com video, I have a question. Is Google Plus dead? Well, it depends on who you ask. The father of Google Plus, Vic Gondoltra, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, has announced that he is leaving Google. He's been there for 8 years, and now he's going bye-bye. He's apparently, and I quote, looking forward to the journey yet to come. Now, he's been instrumental, of course, in Google Plus, and rumours are going around, they're swirling, that Google Plus is going to be pushed to the back burner for Google, possibly even stopped. And I know there's probably already cheers in the background, and we'll get to that in just a moment. So TechCrunch, Forbes, and others are already reporting that is a good chance that Google Plus is no longer going to be considered a product, but more a platform. So in other words, the competition between Facebook and Twitter and Google Plus is going to have one less contender. Now, I'm sure many of you who don't like Facebook are probably going to be a bit sad-faced about this. And there's already a couple of sources that are pointing out that between 1,000 and 1,200 employees, which are responsible for maintaining Google Plus, that's a hell of a lot of people, are physically actually being moved. Now, this is necessarily due to Vic's departure, but if you add two and two together, and it would appear as well that a lot of the talent is going to be moved away from the Google Plus and towards Android. In fact, there's a lot of people, some reports saying up to half of them plus, that are going to be pushing towards Android. And so we've got this question, is it officially dead? No, it's more like a zombie right now. It's like you fire the top dog and you take away all the resources from it. That's one of the quotes that's going about. It will take a lot of work to un-zombie it. It's true, it's like when you get a project, you basically take away the person who had the vision. You take away 50% or most of the workforce. It's like, what's going to happen now? So it would appear that if we were to do a little bit of analysis on this, well, there's something definitely awry. One would immediately point out that a lot of people, there's like 300 million or something like that Google Plus accounts. I would argue that out of all the people I know with Google Plus, I don't know anyone that uses it frequently. I mean, maybe you guys do, and if so, please let me know in the comments or whatever. But I just don't. Everyone I know has a Google Plus account because they need to comment on YouTube, or they need to access something else, another Google service. It's not because they want the social media integration. And indeed, we all know about the YouTube comment blowback issue. Many people thought, integrate Google Plus, integrate the accounts, it's going to be fantastic. Well, at least that was the original theory. Turns out theory and practice don't necessarily mix. And indeed, what's even stranger is we're actually hearing that Google wanted to buy WhatsApp. They knew that it was going to be big. They knew that Facebook were looking at it. And they knew that they were kind of sharpening their kitchen utensils in preparation to carve it. And they just didn't want to plump the cash out. Now, obviously, I don't have this from Google themselves, but if you Google around, ironically enough, there are people who are saying this in the tech industry. And obviously, Mike says to Bob, and Bob says to Tim, and Tim says to John, and so the question can get a little bit mixed. You know how that works, but still. So, it's not necessarily that Google itself, or Google Plus rather, is a problem, right? It's not like it sucks, it's not like it's bad, it's that a lot of people just didn't want it. It's that it was, I think many people agree, just implemented somewhat poorly. And here's the problem, most people, and I don't necessarily agree with this because I have a lot of issues with Facebook as well. As someone such as myself, I absolutely bloody hate that it constantly nags me to fill in details like, where do you work? What, where did you happen to buy your last pair of shoes? Or when did you, last brush your teeth? Those type of details just start pissing me off. But on the other hand, it's going to take a lot for people to move away from the platform. And YouTube it's just, you know, you could force someone to make an account for something. That's the thing. You could force them. But to actually then say, okay, you know what? Now you've got the account, you're going to use it for Google+. Like hell they are. They're just going to use it for the things that they actually want to use it for. You know, people love Google. People love searching for it. People love using, say, I don't know, the cloud storage. People love YouTube and so on and so forth. But it doesn't necessarily mean that all of these things being tied into the same account is going to suddenly make people want to utilize Google+. And so the numbers that we're hearing, they're not necessarily reflective, indicative, or accurate to the actual regular amount of users who are using it. So what are my thoughts on this? Well, I never use Google+. I'll just be totally honest. I have an account. I've never used it. I think many people would agree that the integration of Google Plus into YouTube, and indeed a lot of people would argue that YouTube's recent changes, they've not really been that amazing. I mean, I'm sure all of you remember the the comment issues, and quite a few YouTubers, despite the fact that it negatively affects their SEO, they've got the damn comments removed or, you know, disabled, simply because they just don't want to deal with all the trolling. And a lot of this, you know, the Google Plus integration, the changes to the algorithms and so on, this was all supposed to help combat that. It just hasn't. Anyway, I'm going to be watching this one quite carefully. So as I said, this isn't doom and gloom at Google, but it's certainly looking like they are changing their tune on Google+. Who knows? Perhaps in just a few days' time, it will be all different. And as I said, the company themselves are denying this, but that's somewhat to be expected, right? So who the heck knows? Anyway, I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye for now.